Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Before I forget, or so that I don't forget, I'm going to go forward a few minutes from now. In our Musaf Amidah, a couple of things. One, for our Musaf learning today, we'll go with Gary into the library if you would like to learn. If you'd like to stay here and daven, we're going to try something new, but some have told me this is the way we used to do it, so something new / old for our Kedusha today. So page 187, if you flip forward. Halachically, the reason why we repeat sometimes, why we go congregation and then leader and then congregation and then leader, is to make sure that the congregation actually has a chance to say everything in case the leader went faster than them or in case they pronounced it wrong. But since we're all singing it anyway, the way that we are going to do it today is on page 187, in the parts of the text that are not bold, the parts of the text that are in normal print, we are all going to sing together, so no need for congregation to go first and then leader. We're all going to start that together. So Francine's going to start that off for us. Then, for the bold parts, because that's the part you know really well already, congregation is going to go first, and then the leader is going to come after them. Right? Same thing, the rest of the page. So it might take us a couple weeks to figure it out, but I promise it'll save time in the long run. The normal text, we'll all sing together. The bold text, congregation, and then leader. We'll try it out, see how it goes. Now, if you were here last night, you know what's coming, but we might hear some different answers tonight. So please, raise your hand if you've ever built or rebuilt or remodeled the windows or doors of your home. A lot more people today than last night. When we build windows and doors, what are some of the important features that we're looking for? Security. Insulation. That's a big one for this area. Functioning hinges, that it works. Get it square. I like that. If it fits the space. Great. Anything? Sure, Barry. Privacy. That's the answer I was looking for, actually. But you know that. You were here last night. Roz? Style, how it looks. And clear vision. Right? We want to be able to see outside and want to make sure that we're not seen. That you can open it once you install it, right? Somebody said hinges, right? So it should be no surprise to those who have been into Judaism for a while that we have specific halachic guidelines for how we are supposed to build and alter the windows and doors of our home. And it takes some of your ideas of what's important into consideration. According to the Talmud Bavli Bava Batra, among other rules about our windows and doors, in a case in which two households share a courtyard, one household may not build a door or window opposite another household's door or window. Right. So if you're next door neighbors, I grew up in a house where my next door neighbors, we didn't share a courtyard, but our houses were pretty close together. My next door neighbor had a bedroom window right across from mine. And my mom made sure that I had my windows closed at all times, right? My blinds closed at all times, right? That's halachically not okay but if you if you move into a house like that, you just can't adjust your windows to become like that. You can buy a house like that. So for the Talmudic rabbis, the maintenance of a family's privacy is a mitzvah. It's a biblical commandment from God. As our Talmudic rabbis ask them the origin of such a specific halakha, they turn to our parsha. Today, in today's parsha, Balaam tries to curse the Israelites twice at Balak's command. Twice, God shapes the words in Balaam's mouth into blessings instead. Before Balaam's third attempt, quote, he lifted up his eyes, he saw the Israelites dwelling, tribe by tribe, and the Spirit of God came upon him. Balaam continues with even greater blessings than his first two rounds. A few thousand years into the future, the Talmudic Rabbi Yochanan asks what Balaam sees when the tribes are tribe by tribe to bless the Israelites with such beautiful poetry. Rabbi Yochanan answers himself. He saw that the entrances of their tents were not aligned with one another. And he said, these people are worthy of having the divine presence rest upon them. For Rabbi Yochanan's interpretation of Balaam, the Israelites' strength lies in their protection of each and every family's individual privacy. As we can demonstrate with something so simple as choosing windows and doors for our homes, our privacy matters. We expect to have some measure of control over what each person and group in our lives knows about us. We expect to have the space to make mistakes and to learn from them without the whole world knowing. We expect to experience time one-on-one with those we love, and we expect to experience time completely alone, in quiet reflection, away from the commotion of the outside world. When we make decisions, we expect the freedom to act of our own accord, or at least to regulate who else's opinions influence ours. As Rabbi Norman Lamb writes, so sacred is this center of privacy in man that even God does not permit God's self to tamper with it. That is the meaning of the freedom of will, the moral autonomy of man. I know when I pick windows and doors, part of that aspect of privacy is not just what the outside world sees of me and hears of me, but what I see and hear of the outside world. I want my own space to think, my own space to make my decisions. In order to fulfill the mitzvah of preserving privacy, we must both respect others' privacy and defend our own. When we share information about another person in speech or in print or in pictures, we ask that person first if we may share. Even if it's good news, that person may be waiting for just the right moment to announce it. When someone says they need space or they're not ready to talk, we respect that request. Of course, if there's a concern about their well-being, it's important to check back later or to make sure someone close to them is checking in with them. Before we ask personal questions, we ask ourselves first about how we would feel if someone said the same thing to us. The first time we give an embrace, even for comfort, we make sure the other person is comfortable with sharing that physical touch. Part of privacy is personal space as well. An answer of no to an invitation or a question is not necessarily a personal rejection, but most often a healthy establishment of boundaries. Even for the extroverts among us, we set and we communicate clear boundaries to make sure that our privacy is preserved as well. Without apology, we make our own decisions about our limits in touch, time, physical space, and the information we share with others. We stay mindful of how much we and why we share our own stories with the people we meet, and we allow ourselves to say no to any question or invitation that we decide violates our boundaries. The more we preserve our own privacy, the more we send the message to others that they can trust us with their boundaries too. One particular demonstration of the Jewish balance between privacy and compassion lies in the way we enter a Shiva home. When we visit someone during Shiva, traditionally we do not speak until the mourners speak to us first. We do not pry, we don't wax philosophic until they have invited us into their mental and emotional state. Rather than flowers or trinkets that might add to that mourner's physical space, their private space, we leave their space the way it is, and we bring food for them so that they don't have to re-enter the public until they're a little bit more ready to leave the privacy of their home. Rather than avoiding the mourner because of fear of rejection or even fear of getting too close, we allow them the opportunity to set their own boundaries and to communicate those boundaries to us. At a person's most vulnerable time, the Jewish tradition provides a set recipe, not just for care and for compassion, but also for privacy. When we build these windows and these doors of our home, we want to regulate the amount of sound we hear. We want to regulate the amount we can see and be seen, our ideal balance of security and also accessibility hinges on those doors. So too, in any experience, in any discussion or relationship, we have to keep our privacy and the privacy of others as one of our holiest priorities. Shabbat Shalom.